Okay, this is my 77 Trans Am on my rotisserie. Sorry, my garage is a little torn up right now from some other projects I had to do. But anyways, you asked me to make another video of the floor pan, so I decided I would do that for you. So this is all spot welded in the best that I knew how. What I did is I did lay down the floor pan, and then I aligned this area here. There's a lip. Let's see if I can get the light in there. There's a lip that runs along where my shadow is. It runs along there. That lip where my shadow is. And I aligned that up, and then I set the pan all the way to the back. And after I had it set there, I pushed it all the way down to the cross members and used sheet metal screws and pulled it down so it fit completely snug all the way up to the tunnel, to the rocker. So I knew that at least I had it generally where it needed to go. It worked out really great. After that happened, I used a thin blade on the a cutoff wheel, and I traced out where it should go, and I took my time and I cut this all the way around and dropped the pan out. So pretty much what happened is the pan then laid up just under the transmission tunnel. Now I will admit that being my first attempt, I made some pretty big mistakes as far as I cut a little too much out, so then I had to basically put a larger weld in to fill in the gap. But as I kept going with the back half of it, there was no big gap, and I did a lot better. The one thing I would advise not doing is taking out the whole pan, the old pan, the whole one, because it doesn't fit exactly like the factory one does. The lip that goes down here isn't as good, isn't as long, I should say. Anyhow, I would on my next pan, I think I'm just going to cut along this line, and then that's going to be my new weld, and I'll leave well enough alone. On this back brace that's here, this dimple, as you can see, I cut away from it. I actually ground that down. I didn't want to get anywhere near that brace, so this is all factory, and then this is the new pan. Another thing I advise not doing is do not pull the spot welds out for this cross member. It ends here at the tunnel. It doesn't go all the way across. I should have just went around it. Instead, I had to go back and spot weld it in and do the factory, and I realized doing this method that I have on this one here is a lot better. My lighting is not good today. Okay, there, now you can see the weld. That's what I would have rather done. So that one I just cut around. I didn't take that and separate it from the rocker. And then I have my pan all the way up to the side. So I pulled out one sheet metal screw at a time and spot welded each one in and made sure I had good penetration on the other side. Do not forget to use weld through primer on the other side of this pan. I almost stuck the pan in and forgot to do that, and I would have had bare metal underneath. Not good. So I luckily remembered before I started welding it and was able to spray weld through primer there and there. So then my underseat pans were toast like that. Actually, this one over here was a lot worse, and I welded that one in, so that one came out really good. I'll grind down the welds a little bit. The carpet's going to hide most of it. I didn't really get too far up on where the seatbelt mount is. On the other side, I will be doing 2 spot welds to weld the seatbelt mount back onto this pan. If you can avoid that, that's good, but mine was rusted out pretty bad, so I cut all the bad metal out. The other thing I started to do was the toe boards. They don't repop these or reproduce these, so I had to get one out of another car. I was a stickler. I wanted to have the lines, the bead rolled lines in it. I wanted it to look factory. So this one was only rotted in the middle. So I will patch that, and I'll patch there at the seams. But right now I just have that one sheet metal screwed in so I can finish trim cutting it. But when I hold it in place, it actually fits very well. So that's my new toe. That will be my new toe board. I still have the other side to do, and then the front toe board to do, and the rear seat pan. So let me see if I can get underneath this and kind of show you. I was told that butt welding, this was going to be the hardest, and you can definitely see why people will lap weld them, but I didn't want that kind of work. So there's my weld, how it penetrated through the other side underneath. You can see my primer. It came out nice. And the pan, I didn't have to massage it or anything. It fit the contours of the cross members very well. And this is what I mean by, there's the length here of the old original floor pan, and now you can see how this one's a lot shorter. So on the other side, I'm not going to remove that. It'll stay factory. But one side's pretty much done. Let's try not to move the camera too much. I'm really happy with it. Once I grind down these welds and primer the bottom of this, I believe it'll be a repair that's not going to be easily seen. And that's what I was looking for. But you gotta love these Trans Ams. I know I do. I love it enough that I even bought a second one. And that one's a Y82. Somebody cut the roof off of it and welded on a hardtop roof. Guess they got tired of the T-tops leaking. The problem is you can see where they cut it and welded it. Not a very good job. I got a whole brand new roof, the entire A-pillar and this rear sail panel that'll go on here for Hearst T-tops. And that's it.